Well, welcome. I'm excited to have author Mesu Andrews with me today. Mesu, it's so nice to meet you.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here with you.
Thanks for being on the program with me today. So this is the first time we've met, so could you just tell me a little bit about yourself?
So I am married to the most wonderful man in the whole wide world, 41 years now, and we've known each other since third grade. I couldn't stand him till junior high, but he was okay after that. And we have 2 grown daughters and 8 wonderful grandchildren. Oh, and 2 really nice son-in-laws too, by the way.
Sweet. And you live in a town I know well?
Yeah, Fort Wayne, Indiana. We are Indiana kids, and we're out in Portland for 9 years, and then out on the other coast in North Carolina for 8 years, and now back home again in Indiana, right?
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so what kind of books do you write?
I write biblical novels.
Okay.
They're called biblical fiction in the genre, but it just makes my teeth itch to say biblical and fiction in the same, so we call them novels. Anyway, there's several different genres in biblical fiction.
Okay.
I tend to write the actual biblical characters, and 3 layers: foundational, scripture, period. I read as much as I can and catch as much as I can and aim to never contradict scripture. So that's my foundation. Facts and research, I love that. And so that becomes the building blocks. And then creative fiction holds it all together, so that hopefully the reader can come in and feel like they're at home and in that moment with that biblical character. And motivation is not often described in the Bible, so that's part of the historical and creative fiction, that I need to look at the character as a whole and stay true to their whole Bible story.
And so when you say research, what other research is there than the Bible?
So lots and lots of rabbinical literature that has been passed down first auditory, right? They did the, sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It's that rhythmic, and it's music and it's words, and that was the Jewish way to keep history, was oral tradition. Then they started writing, mostly after the exile, when they went into Babylon at the very end there, and end of the Old Testament. And so the rabbis love to debate and come up with, and they tell the traditional stories, like, who's David's mother? Well, guess what? That's in there. That's in the rabbinic histories. So I spend a lot of time in that.
How do you get into that? Like, where do you find
online?
That? Okay.
Online. Jewish Encyclopedia. There's just a Shabbat or Chabad.org, I think. Once you start looking, it's there, but in our Protestant world, we don't, think about that, or our Jesus world. So, that's where I do a lot of it. My husband was a professor, and so he was given the Bible, Logos Bible software at the college where he taught and was dean, and he's never used it. I use it all the time. So that's very helpful. Very, very helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you write Old Testament?
I do.
Okay.
I only write Old Testament stories, and that is because the guy that's now my husband, we were not believers all along, right? I grew up in a Christian family. Mom's charismatic, dad's a Quaker. Wow. Interesting conversations at the dinner table. And so I saw scripture as a weapon used against, to hurt and to, So I was an alcoholic by the time I was 16. And lots of other things going on there, and a very rebellious teenager. And Roy and I graduated together. We were really good friends. He and I could just, cuss like a sailor, smoke like a chimney. Yeah, and drink of choice was Jack Daniel's, straight preferably half the bottle. So it was just every day I did that. And Roy was great with that because he wasn't a believer either, and he'd been to church twice in his whole life and got kicked out both times. So didn't really, but a Christian college down in Texas offered him a basketball scholarship. And so he had to make up something that sounded like he was a Christian, and he's really good at making up things. So he got in. And I'll tell you what, by Easter, LeTourneau University and their residents and their just their modeling of life in Jesus, he was hooked. He was away from all the family, all the friends, and God put him in a timeout and just said, listen, you're going to listen to this. And so when he came back after his freshman year, because the scholarships dried up, imagine that, because they were going to get this thing called personal computers. So yeah, I was before the computer. He came home and he was so different. And we went out with our best friends who were engaged at the time, and I'm like, why are you not angry that your roommate took your car and hit a parked car with it? Why? That's not normal. You would be angry about that. And he said, it's just Jesus. And that's all he said. He didn't go forward, didn't quote scripture, it's just Jesus. And that made me really angry because I'm like, everybody I knew was Christian when they were out, but really wanted to hurt each other otherwise. And then he said to me, the Bible is one story, cover to cover, Genesis to Revelation, and it is a love letter for you. And I had just gone through a really hard breakup, and I needed a love letter. And so Genesis 3:15 is the scripture he used to turn my heart around, and Jesus had already prepared the soil. And Genesis 3:15 is basically when God speaks to the serpent after the sin, and he curses the serpent, and he curses the ground. But, oh yeah, and he does curse the woman with childbirth, labor. Thank you, Eve. But he promises her. He promises her that the one who broke his creation, she was going to have a seed, capital S1, seed, that would crush the serpent's head. But first the serpent would strike his heel. And then we have the cross and the resurrection. So Jesus was in Genesis 3:15, and it made John 3:16 make so much more sense. So I write Old Testament because I want my readers to read it as a bridge toward the Bible and understanding the Bible more and better, and actually experiencing with some of those characters what their culture was like, what traditions they were breaking, what all of those things. Why did God say they had to kill all those people in Canaanite, right? That are Canaanites. So all those things, they fit together in the single story. So yeah, that's why I write Old Testament.
Well, you've got me hooked. I can say I've never really read any biblical fiction before. So
fun.
You got me hooked.
That's good.
Thank you.
I love that.
Okay, so if people want to learn more about each of your books, you've got two right here.
I do.
Let's show those.
So
Let's talk about those quick.
This is my newest series, and it is called King David's Brides. The first one was Brave, the story of Ahinoam. I mean, who knows who she is, right? Nobody. And this second one comes out August 9th, so you can pre-order it now. And it is about Maacah.
Okay.
Does anybody know?
I do not.
That is Absalom's mom.
Okay.
So she had to have really long, beautiful, curly hair because that's where he got it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so fun to write those kinds of things and point people to the truth with fiction.
Yes.
That's my joy.
Awesome. Okay, so if people want to know more about your other books.
My website, it's just mesuandrews.com. simple, and you can find pretty much everything there.
Yes, and you can find out why the name Mesu.
Yes. Yes, you can. Okay, I'm just going to say this so people don't wonder like you were wondering. My real name is Marilla Sue. I don't ever say my real name on the website. And actually, that's on purpose. I just like to make people curious.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I thank you for joining me today. I greatly
Thank you.
appreciate it, and I look forward to reading your books.
Good.
So.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
It's nice to meet you.
You too.